Well, welcome, Jill, and thank you for joining us today. Give us maybe you could just start out and tell your story because I think it's a great one.
Sure, and thanks so much for having me here today. I graduated from college and, like many other college graduates, was kind of at a loss for what I really wanted to do. And what I wanted to do was work in TV.
You did.
And be a journalist. So I put my foot out there and started interviewing, and I made a lot of mistakes, but I ended up at a job at a financial news website. And at the time, didn't know my ETFs from my 401ks, but I learned the business and I really loved it. And because it was a startup, I really got to learn so many different positions within the industry in a lot of different areas. Mm-hmm. And I still, persevered and was able to get my own web series for that network.
Really? What was the series?
It was called The Daily Feed. So I would research. Yeah, so I would research the news for that was going on in the day in the finance world. We would write the script, and then we would tape it every afternoon. And that was really fulfilling and challenging. But after almost 2 years of that, I felt like, okay, it's time for me to move on. And I fortuitously heard the career expert Nicole Williams at her book tour, and she was just so inspiring that, several months down the line, I saw that there was an opening. I applied, and I've been there for the last 5 years and have really learned so much about the career industry that I wish I had known when I was first starting out and interviewing and making the mistakes. And that's really what led me to really help other millennials and recent graduates really learn how to navigate the job market and be the best that they can be.
Yes, and that's such a helpful thing because we've done the study and we see the numbers. A lot of millennials feel like they're just at the beginning stages of their career. A lot of them actually want to own their own business, they want to be entrepreneurs, but many of them aren't at the income level they feel like they would like to be. So I guess I'd like to learn from you, being a career expert, what are some tips that you give millennials today? I'm sure they ask you this all the time. You're probably very popular at dinner parties.
I think that the number one thing people need to do is before they start any new job is to always negotiate your salary and come in with the research behind what a person in that position actually makes and go in with a smart range. So if you saw that, the average person makes $60,000, don't go in asking for $80,000. You might even get the job offer rescinded if you're going to ask for that highball offer. But you can ask for a smart range in there, or you can ask for maybe a commission as attached to a salary and get a percentage off of every sale, or perhaps if you're a journalist and you get a cut off of every share of your article. So it's getting a little bit creative. Smart. Exactly. So it's just, you have to think smart in this type of job environment. You have to prove your worth, and that's a way that you could do that without them saying, we don't have the budget right now.
Which is great, because from my standpoint as an employer, if someone came to me and they did this research, I would feel very impressed that they took the time and they were truly interested in the position that I had available for them.
Right, and part of doing the research also proves themselves in the job, because whatever job you're in, you're selling something. If you can't sell yourself and negotiate a better deal, right, exactly. How are you going to help the company when it's your time?
And I love that you said that. How are you going to help the company? And that's something that I believe when we're younger, we sometimes forget that in fact, when we're working, we are there to help the company, right?
Right, exactly. And I think that when people are going out on these interviews, that they're thinking, how is that person going to like me? But you're really selling yourself, and part of that is really getting an authentic approach of what that company is, what that company does, and really translating your skills into what their needs are at the time.
Absolutely, right. It's about them and not about us at that moment in time. Is there another tip that you would give a young person today?
I think if you're already in a job and you're not feeling as challenged, but you're scared to take that next leap, start interviewing, because that feeling of complacency and stability will just get harder and longer the more that you stay at a place. So if it's not now, it'll be never. So it's really to challenge yourself, see what else is out there, and maybe you're still not ready to leave, but you'll boost your confidence and it'll give you that, extra energy to actually ask for that raise and that promotion and to motivate you to work on those harder projects.
Yeah, that's brilliant. It's so true. So I'm sure your employer has done all these things because they know what you know. So they have to take very good care of you. So let's talk about that. So in your role and what do you do with, I guess, your clients?
With our clients, we always look out for what they want, because they're technically our employer. So we always want to make them happy, and we really try to give them the best attention that we can. We really try to hear their needs and make sure that we're taking care of them at the end of the day. And if that's an extra several phone calls, if that's being on call for them, it's whatever they need. And no matter what job you're in, that's really how you have to start thinking.
Great. So when somebody comes to you in transition, then you kind of coach them through the process so they can get their ideal job.
Right, exactly. It's really just hearing their story and having somebody really tell you what they love doing, what they're sick of doing, and really getting them to that next level.
I love that you say that, because in our own industry, we found the same thing. If you put a person in a position that's perfectly suited for their personality, they will always flourish and succeed. But if you force someone, or even if they themselves force themselves to do something just because of that paycheck, or no matter what, sooner or later, it just isn't a good fit.
No. And they'll end up really hating themselves within that role and not performing to those same stats that they were, when they came on, several years before.
Okay, exactly. Well, let's talk about you. So what's on the horizon for you? Because what gets you really just hyped up today?
I really love talking with other millennials and really helping people find their true career and really take that next step. Whether it's a raise, a promotion, or just learning, what they could do as a side business, or even if they wanted to break out on their own, what are the steps they need to take now in order to achieve that? Because I really wish that I would have known all these little tips and tricks that I've learned the last few years.
It's brilliant, because you're in the perfect city to do this. We were just walking down Times Square, and there were just like hundreds and thousands of people, and so many of them dressed to the T. Everyone's going back to work after lunch, and I could just imagine all these people and all these professions and wanting to go to that next step. And especially in a city like New York, where your living standards are so high, you're always having to push the envelope whether you want to or not. So how does a millennial survive in New York City?
To be tenacious, but you have to be smart, and you have to live within your means, and you have to understand the job market and really research the salaries. I think that's the number one thing that colleges don't prepare students for is, okay, you want to get a degree in teaching, well, here are the teaching salaries.
Right.
You want to get a degree in journalism, they're even less. Mm-hmm. And it's just really understanding the market and then saying, okay, well, if I really want to be in journalism and be a production assistant and make X and be on a contracted project, I'm going to have to live with a roommate. I'm going to have to maybe not live in New York. And it's kind of going in with that attitude of, okay, I really want this, so I'm going to make it work within my life to get this job of my dreams. And I'm going to work hard, or I'm going to babysit on the weekends, or...
Right, do whatever it takes.
Exactly.
Right, I love that. That's excellent advice. Well, with that, is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
I think that millennials are doing a lot of amazing things, and as we mentioned earlier, they can get discounted for being the me generation. They get a little bit of a bad rap, but at the end of the day, a lot of millennials are doing some amazing things, and they are branching out on their own and starting their own businesses and freelancing a lot more, and we're doing our part to help change the world.
Well, that's wonderful to hear, because you are the largest population of our generation, and from my standpoint, everybody I've met, millennials are just incredible. I would not discount them for a second. I think that would be the grossest understatement. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Jill. Thank you for spending time with us.
Thank you so much.